you know, so our protest movement was part of it, was around at least the campaign against the Ku Klux Klan. So it's some particulars there. You see what I'm saying? There's some particulars there in terms of the Klan still being a living entity. I'm not saying it's a mass movement like it was before, but it's a living entity, and they still have a great deal of influence and control over the government, and you know, there. And in the minds of the people, you know, there is a great deal of fear. There's a hell of a lot of fear about the Klan and the police and all this, you know, intertwined. Even when it was so-called black police chief for the first time, and all of that. So you're talking about a kind of racist history coupled with police terrorism all the time. Police, as I said, 3 people killed this year, that on top of the 23 killed, 23, 24 killed in the time frame of from February 12th to now. So people don't know about it. This is what I'm saying. This is why we know there's so many hidden murders, both contemporary and in the past. We know this because we're living this right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that the body count is extremely important for a place like Memphis, but also a place all over America. Yes, sir, brother. You had a question? You asked a question? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I put you on the spot, man. But anyone who has a question. I've done my diatribe section now, so you know. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's not really a question, but I can just see, working on one about Chicago, I mean, each one is more horrific and startling and phantasmal than the last. The last one, or one was one of the rarely adjudicated ones. They actually took a cop to trial, and they charged him with involuntary manslaughter. He shot a woman in an alley, shooting like this over his shoulder, and he was off duty, you know, into a crowd of people in the alley.
Dante Servant, Ricky Boyd you're speaking of, right?
Yeah, and the judge ruled he was not guilty because they should have charged him with murder. So now he's scot-free, and he can't be recharged because of double jeopardy. So that's how
Her brother came.
Kafkaesque it's getting, you know?
We did a protest in Memphis around International Day of Action Against Police Brutality in 2013, and her brother came to Memphis and marched with us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The people, he's affiliated with the Chicago Committee Against Racism and Oppression.
Martinez?
Huh?
His name Martinez? Something.
That sounds familiar.
But I think what's incredible, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I
He just stretching.
about to say that.
Oh, he's not stretching. I don't know, I can't get your nigga, can't get this right. Sorry.
I just want to say that a lot of times there is evidence that could greatly discredit the allegations that are made by police in a lot of instances, but I don't think we as citizens understand that we can collect evidence and present it just like the police can. We don't necessarily have to wait on them to present the evidence.
That's right.
What they do is they stick, like if it's somebody being charged with crime,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
they'll
saying.
stick the public defender with them and make you think that you're locked in there, you can't get any evidence, or you can't do this or can't do that. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I think the citizens don't take it upon themselves to present and collect their own evidence.
Yeah.
I want to jump in on this because this is real important, and the Kia Boy is crazy one, and another one in Chicago, Justice House, caught on videotape, a la Walter Scott, and they just went away in a day. That was last week. I'm from the DC area. I spent a lot of time in Ferguson. I've met a number of people here. But right now, I'll say DMV, let me broaden it. In Fairfax, Virginia, a woman you might have heard, Natasha McKenna, and what she was in a cell, and her legs were bound. She was cuffed. She's 5'3", 130 pounds, and she's completely subdued. She also has mental illness, and she was tased 4 times by 6 officers, and she died in her cell. We have not seen the video yet. It has not gotten the attention we want it to get yet. But what I'm thinking of as you're talking, and this is difficult to get information because it happened in the cell, unlike Freddie Gray, where some independent reporting was able to figure out something was awfully wrong. How does somebody go about it? Because we've actually been having these discussions.
Yeah.
How do we go about getting more information beyond what the police can get?
It's called the Freedom of Information Act. And what you do is any action is pending. For example, I got like the police tapes. I was into it with the police at my house. They came to my house and pointed guns. It angers me. So we had a confrontation. So I got the police to do the videos, all of them. What I mean is, all you have to do is have a pending court action. Once they took me and charged me with a crime, they made pending court action. Then you can subpoena any records that you want. And it doesn't necessarily have to go to the lawyer that's there. You know, and people don't understand this, and I've done it. You can fire a lawyer and get your own evidence if they're not. See, a lot of times they are an impediment to what you're trying to do because they're actors of the state. Unless you're paying a lawyer, and sometimes even those are working with the state. So, you know, you just got to understand that any time they appoint you an attorney, that's the enemy too. So you got to go around that, and Freedom of Information Act, that's how they get, you know, a lot of documents that had been stolen by Edward Snowden, and when he finally brought them back or published whatever he did publish, they went and got a lot more information under the Freedom of Information Act. And so, a subpoena, Freedom of Information Act, then when you file the Freedom of Information Act, they don't abide by it, you file another court order, ask the court to enforce the terms of it. And sometimes the police department will get in, sometimes they won't, you have to fight a little bit harder.
Let me point out a difference though. You're talking about an individual case and you're talking about your case. But when someone is killed, and Chris is in Memphis, for 2 years or more, we've been trying to get information about the people who were killed, and the government is stonewalling. We filed a written FOI, whatever we would call it, Open Records Act in our state, in Tennessee, to get this information from the Memphis Police Department, and from the so-called city government. And they are just stonewalling. I mean, and apparently they've been stonewalling with even, not just us, you know, it turns out that they've been stonewalling with all a large number of classes of people, you know, that have been trying to get information there. And so when you got that kind of thing, you know, and then their thing is to try to, by not giving you the information, they figure, well, he can't or she can't go out and expose us in any kind of way if we don't give them the information. We just ignore them, whatever. So we're gonna wind up having to sue them. But then you talk about money, you talk about poor people who don't have any resources. You talking about an organization really that ain't got no money, you know what I'm saying? So we're in a situation where we have to go to really extreme measures to get any information. I mean, it's not like, now in a criminal case, yeah, you can subpoena information in your case, and you probably get it even easier in your state as long as it doesn't involve, you know, the local police or something like that. I don't know, but it's a different kind of situation, and what I'm talking about really up here is the ability for you on the local level to get information about police killings, people who've been killed by the police, and the number of, you know, cases and all this, and then be able to use that information, on the number of killings as an organizing tool. So it's a different thing we're talking about here. Yes, sir.
No, I realize both aspects of what you were saying. I was using the pending court action as another example of how you can get it.
All right.
But I know that you can get it with or without action in court pending. And I know what you mean about not having the resources to go about hiring somebody to do it. And the way I look at it, you know, do it yourself.
Well,
hire
we've done the paperwork. I'm a paralegal. I was a paralegal in prison. That's why one of the reasons I'm walking around out here, was because I was able to bring a lot of this stuff and later on get some legal assistance from attorneys. But basically, I got myself out of prison and along with the mass movement.